The Islamic Golden Age, spanning roughly from the 8th to the 14th century, was a transformative period in human history, during which the Muslim world became the global epicenter of knowledge, innovation, and scientific discovery. This era witnessed the preservation, translation, and expansion of ancient knowledge from Greek, Persian, Indian, and other civilizations. More importantly, it generated new theories, methods, and inventions that laid the foundation for modern science, medicine, mathematics, and technology. As Europe descended into what is often called the Dark Ages, Islamic civilization was experiencing a renaissance of learning that would not only shape its own societies, but eventually ignite the European Renaissance. This video explores how the Islamic Golden Age of science fundamentally changed history as we know it, highlighting its major contributions and lasting global impact. The Islamic Golden Age was not a spontaneous occurrence. It was catalyzed by a number of political, cultural, and religious factors. Chief among them was the Abbasid Caliphate's commitment to knowledge and intellectual pursuit. Founded in 750 CE, the Abbasid dynasty moved the capital to Baghdad, a city strategically located between the remnants of the Persian and Greco-Roman worlds. Under the leadership of enlightened caliphs such as Harun al-Rashid and al-Mamun, Baghdad became home to the famed Beit al-Hikmah, House of Wisdom, where scholars of all faiths worked together to translate, preserve, and expand upon the scientific texts of antiquity. Islam itself provided a religious and philosophical framework that encouraged the pursuit of knowledge. Numerous Quranic verses and sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, emphasized reflection on the natural world, the value of learning, and the importance of reason. This theological encouragement, combined with the practical needs of an expanding empire, led to an unprecedented flourishing of scientific activity. One of the most profound impacts of the Islamic Golden Age was the preservation of classical knowledge. As the Western Roman Empire collapsed, many ancient Greek and Roman texts were lost or ignored in Europe. Muslim scholars, on the other hand, valued these texts and worked diligently to translate them into Arabic. Philosophers like Al-Kindi, Hunayn ibn Ishaq, and Thabit ibn Qurra translated works by Plato, Aristotle, Galen, Hippocrates, Ptolemy, and others. These Arabic translations would later be retranslated into Latin and reintroduced to Europe, sparking the European Renaissance centuries later. This act of preservation was more than mechanical translation, it was dynamic engagement. Islamic scholars didn't merely copy ancient knowledge, they critically analyzed, corrected, and expanded upon it. In doing so, they created an intellectual bridge between antiquity and modernity, ensuring that human civilization did not lose the foundational works of logic, medicine, astronomy, and philosophy. One of the most enduring legacies of the Islamic Golden Age is in the field of mathematics. The very word algebra is derived from the Arabic word Algebra, taken from the title of the seminal book Al-Kitab al-Muqtasar fi Hisab al-Jabr wal-Muqabala by Al-Khwarizmi. In this work, Al-Khwarizmi laid the foundations of algebra as an independent discipline, separate from geometry and arithmetic. He also introduced systematic methods for solving linear and quadratic equations, which are still taught in schools today. Moreover, Al-Khwarizmi's contributions to numerical systems were revolutionary. He was instrumental in introducing Hindu-Arabic numerals, including the concept of zero, to the Islamic world, which were later adopted in Europe. His work on algorithms, named after him, became fundamental to computer science. Other mathematicians like Omar Khayyam contributed to the theory of cubic equations and refined the calendar, while Al-Tusi developed trigonometric tables and identities that predated European advancements by centuries. These mathematical breakthroughs laid the groundwork for future developments in engineering, physics, and astronomy. Islamic medicine was another area where the Golden Age had transformative effects. Building upon the works of Hippocrates and Galen, Muslim physicians like Ibn Sina, Avicenna, Al-Razi, Rhazes, and Al-Zahrawi revolutionized the field of medicine. Ibn Sina's Canon of Medicine, Al-Qanun fi al-Tib, became the standard medical textbook in Europe and the Islamic world for over 500 years. It provided a comprehensive synthesis of medical knowledge, covering diagnostics, pharmacology, hygiene, and anatomy. Al-Razi was a pioneer in clinical medicine and experimental methodology. He wrote extensively on diseases such as smallpox and measles and emphasized the importance of clinical observation and ethics in medical practice. Al-Zahrawi, considered the father of modern surgery, authored the Kitab al-Tasrif, a 30-volume encyclopedia that included detailed illustrations of surgical instruments and techniques, many of which were adopted in Europe. These physicians also promoted hospitals as institutions of learning and treatment, setting standards for hygiene, patient care, and medical ethics that resonate even in today's healthcare systems. Islamic astronomers made significant strides in understanding celestial phenomena. Driven by the need to determine prayer times, the Qibla, direction of Mecca, and the Islamic calendar, Muslim scholars advanced both theoretical and observational astronomy. Scholars such as al-Battani, al-Zarqali, and Nasir al-Din al-Tusi developed highly accurate star catalogues and astronomical tables. Al-Battani, for instance, accurately calculated the solar year as 365.2422 days, remarkably close to modern measurements. Perhaps one of the most influential scientists in this field was Ibn al-Haytham al-Hazn, who is often considered the father of modern optics and scientific methodology. In his monumental work, Kitab al-Manazir, Book of Optics, Ibn al-Haytham demonstrated through experimentation that vision results from light reflecting off objects and entering the eyes, contradicting earlier Greek theories. He established principles of reflection, refraction, and pinhole imaging, which laid the groundwork for later advancements in physics, photography, and even telescopic astronomy. The Islamic Golden Age was also marked by remarkable engineering and technological achievements. Al-Jazari, a 12th century engineer, is celebrated for his book of knowledge of ingenious mechanical devices, which describes over 100 mechanical devices, including automata, water clocks, pumps, and gears. Many of his inventions are considered precursors to modern robotics and mechanical engineering. His use of crankshafts, valves, and pistons in devices like water-raising machines demonstrated an advanced understanding of hydraulics and mechanical design. These machines were not only marvels of innovation, but also had practical applications in irrigation, timekeeping, and public services, improving quality of life across the Islamic world. Muslim philosophers played a crucial role in harmonizing reason and revelation, enabling scientific inquiry to thrive within a religious framework. Thinkers such as Al-Farabi, Ibn Sina, and Ibn Rushd, Averroes, sought to reconcile Islamic theology with Greek philosophy. Their works influenced not only Muslim thinkers, but also Christian and Jewish scholars in Europe and the Mediterranean. Most notably, the scientific method itself was heavily influenced by the works of Ibn al-Haytham, who emphasized observation, experimentation, and repeatability, principles that would later become cornerstones of modern science. His insistence on empirical evidence and skepticism toward unverified claims challenged earlier Aristotelian approaches and anticipated the rigorous methodologies of figures like Roger Bacon and Galileo. The knowledge generated and preserved during the Islamic Golden Age eventually flowed into Europe through Spain, Sicily, and the Crusades. Centers of learning like Toledo and Cordoba in Al-Andalus became melting pots where Muslim, Christian, and Jewish scholars collaborated and translated Arabic texts into Latin. These translations reintroduced Europe to the works of Aristotle, Galen, Ptolemy, and the innovations of Islamic scientists. Figures like Leonardo da Vinci, Copernicus, and Newton were indirectly beneficiaries of this knowledge pipeline. Without the intellectual groundwork laid by Muslim scholars, the European Renaissance and the subsequent scientific revolution would likely have taken a very different course. The Islamic Golden Age of science was not a mere historical curiosity, but a monumental chapter in the story of human progress. It preserved the legacy of ancient civilizations, generated new knowledge that advanced nearly every scientific field, and transmitted this knowledge across cultural and religious boundaries. The values that fueled this era, intellectual curiosity, religious openness to learning, and cross-cultural collaboration, remain as relevant today as they were a millennium ago. By challenging dogma, pioneering methods, and seeking understanding through both faith and reason, the scholars of the Islamic Golden Age reshaped the trajectory of world history. Their legacy is a testament to the power of knowledge to transcend borders, uplift civilizations, and change the world. If you enjoyed this video, you'll love what's next. We have made several videos on this topic. Click the playlist on your screen to dive into more content. May Allah bless you.